place to be than on the beach in the rain and the cold. Frankly, I'd rather be inside, and that's where we are. This is the WCC This Week, presented by Geico, our Game of the Week, San Diego and Pepperdine from here in Malibu. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, once more with my partner, Casey Jacobson. Great to start another season of conference play in the West Coast Conference. And the biggest news this week, Casey, without question, Jared Brownridge, big-time scorer.
Big-time scorer for many, many years, too. 2,000 career points, and we're going to show you the bucket that got him 2,000. This is against the Portland Pilots just a couple of nights ago. Jared Brownridge, only the 11th player in WCC history to get that many points. More impressive is the consistency by which he's done it. He's averaged 16 points in every season that he's played, including his freshman year.
All-conference player and an all-conference kid. There's no question about that. We had a chance to talk to him after the game about how big a deal this was. Quite big, thank you very much.
It's huge. I remember when I was a sophomore and I got 1,000, and I thought that was a huge number, and now I'm here in my senior year and I reached 2,000. So it's just really cool to see things come around full circle and just kind of go back to my freshman year and just kind of remember, how things started, and now I'm getting to how things end.
So where does he stand amongst the career scoring leaders? How about number 4 in the country? 2,001 points, only 3 other guys any better than him. Quality guy. This guy's going to be a success whatever he does. Casey, we've been talking about backcourts, and now that KJ Fagan is back for Santa Clara, he and Brownridge pretty formidable. I don't think there's any question about that. But up and down this conference, great backcourt play.
And in 2017, Barry, you cannot win at the college basketball level unless you have great backcourt play, and WCC is full of all kinds of guard tandems. We're going to start with the Gales out in Moraga with their two-headed point guard monster, Joe Rayhan, Emmett Nahr. Both are averaging 6 assists per game, a huge reason why the Gales are 6th in the country in field goal percentage offense. And next, we're going to go to the Zags, Nigel Williams-Goss and Jordan Matthews. Both of these guys are Pac-12 transfers. Goss, he leads them in scoring and assists and dropped 35 points against USF just 2 nights ago. And Jordan Matthews leading them with 43 pointers on the season. And last, but certainly not least, the Portland Pilots have a killer combo. Alec Wintering and Jazz Johnson combined, these point guards are averaging 39 points per night, which is 3rd in the entire country when you talk about backcourt scoring tandems, which makes them one of the most dangerous teams on a nightly basis.
It wasn't too long ago, I think, Casey, that conventional wisdom said you better have a good big if you're going to have a good program. I think that's changed a little bit. Now you better have a good point guard.
I know, it makes me want to put on a uniform again and get out there and just start hoisting threes all day, all game long, baby. I still got it, Barry. I
could be your point guard.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the game we're going to be watching today. 2 teams are kind of on an uptick, I think. Winnable game for both these teams. For San Diego, Brett Bailey, yes, he's a senior, but as a senior, kind of starting to get it.
Yeah, he is, and he's the only senior for this USD roster, so they really need his leadership. Brett has increased his scoring average 11 points from where it was his junior season last year. He also leads them in rebounds and steals and field goal percentage, and although USD is 0-3, they're going to need a monster night from their senior. And then for the Waves, their senior, Lamon Murray Jr., he has been a scorer since birth. He's actually increased his three-point shooting total this year at 46% clip. It's the best he's ever had here with Pepperdine. 3rd in the WCC at 19 points per game. A really big guard, and of course, he's going to be priority number 1 for USD defensively. They got to slow down Lamon Murray Jr. tonight.
Ability to score is in his genes, I think.
His dad.
And Kelly Tennant had an opportunity to talk with Marty Wilson, the Pepperdine coach. It's been a tough year for him. Injuries have plagued this team.
Thank you, Barry. Coach, losing Amadi Udini to the Achilles tear, I know it affected Jeremy Major in a couple ways, not only just on the court, but emotionally as well.
No doubt. We saw that right away. Right after Amadi went down, we saw Jeremy looking for him. I mean, he's his tag team buddy. As I said before, they'll probably be in each other's weddings down the line because they're best friends. But it was an emotional letdown, and it also put pressure on him to have to go back and be the main guy at the point guard position and make decisions and make reads and figure out how to get Lamont shots and Chris shots and himself shots, on top of all the other things that it does that puts pressure on him just as a leader, as a vocal guy. So it was tough for him as well as us.
Yeah, I know you had told me earlier this week that it affected the entire team. It really changed the identity of this team. So where are you guys now in terms of trying to find that?
Well, we talked about it earlier today. We talked about it before. I've been asked a few times, what is our identity? And I didn't know because we haven't established it. I thought Thursday night we showed it. Okay, one thing that we've been preaching is toughness, defense, and unselfishness. And I thought throughout that game we were. And we talked about it earlier today. We have to continue to that for us to continue to win games.
Great. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Barry.
All right, thanks very much, Kelly. Well, the fact of the matter is, Casey, Lamont Smith at San Diego might have the same complaints. He's been hurt by the injury bug, too.
Health is such an issue for every team, no matter if you're talking about NBA, college, high school. It's one of those things that we don't talk about until one of your big guys go down. But absolutely, Lamont Smith, their best big guy, Floresca, has been out the entire year with a torn labrum. You know, Udini is one of the best assist playmaker guys that Pepperdine has. Without those guys, they don't have enough offensively to make up for it in a very competitive WCC conference.
I was going to say, all of that said, other than the top three in the West Coast Conference this year, virtually every game is winnable for any other team, and that's what these two coaches feel today. So that is our game of the week. It's going to be San Diego and Pepperdine. Pepperdine coming off a win, San Diego coming off a very tough loss. That'll be the game of the week here in Malibu, San Diego and Pepperdine. When we come back, we'll take you back to the studio as the West Coast Conference this week continues.
Welcome back to WCC This Week here in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee. Before we head into our full slate of games today, let's get you caught up with all the highlights earlier this week, and no better place to start than with the first place and undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs. 14-0 to start the season, ranked number 5 in the country. Here they are visiting San Francisco. Early on, game tied at 9. Nigel Williams-Goss is going to penetrate. Sweet bounce pass to Jonathan Williams for the dunk. One of 6 assists for the Washington transfer. First half winding down. Shemek Karnowski and Killian Tilly both there for the block. Here comes Goss the other way. Kicks it out to Jordan Matthews for the 3. Another Pac-12 transfer. Matthews coming from Cal Berkeley, not the Philadelphia Eagles. Second half, USF hoping to keep it close. Forced the turnover. Ronnie Boyce with a sweet little finish on the break. Cuts the lead to just 10. But this game was all about Williams-Goss. Open in the corner. Catch, shoot, bang. He was 3 of 4 from behind the arc. Moments later, here he is in the post. Goss finished. 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Zags remain undefeated. Nice win on the road, 95-80. Let's go to BYU St. Mary's. Big matchup in Northern California. BYU visiting 19th ranked St. Mary's. Both teams winners their first 2 conference games. Quick first step baseline, tough reverse layup right here by Eric Mika. He had 13 in the first half, finished with 28. Skip ahead. Gales up 3. Check out the ball movement. Joe Rayon leaves it for Jock Landale. That's a Gales first half cover. 1 of 6 first half assists for Rayon. Next St. Mary's possession. More great passing. Move the ball. Emmett Nahr. Look at that. Knocked down the open 3 ball. Gales up by 8. Second half, 11-point game. Nahr and Landale working the pick and roll. Perfection. 11 of 13 from the field for Landale. Extends the lead to 13. Later in the half, this time Landale's going to return the favor. Easy 2 for Nahr. St. Mary's pulls away. Final score 81-68. Damon Stoudemire, Pacific, looking to bear down, snap an 8-game road losing streak. Here they are in San Diego. First half, Tigers up 1. Jack Williams hits the 3. The Tigers, 901st straight game with a made 3-pointer, 8th longest streak in the NCAA. Second half, Torero's down 6. Brett Bailey's good kid. Nice cut backdoor for the open dunk. 2 of his 10 points. USD hanging around down 4. Under 3 minutes to go. Game tied at 47. Ray Bowles. Clutch 3. Tigers go up 3. Under 40 seconds to play. Still a 3-point game. Tyler Williams gets the handoff. Takes it for the easy 2. San Diego down just 1. 20 seconds left. USD down 3. Here's Coach Smith drawing up a play. Everyone's listening. And by the way, they get a nice look right here for Olin Carter. But it's off the iron and no good. Pacific picks up their first road win and first conference victory, 56-53. In Malibu, a little PCH battle between Loyola Marymount and Pepperdine. And this was a tight one. Skip ahead, about a minute left in the game. 2-point game. Chris Reyes in the post. Takes his time. Drop step, bucket, foul, 3-point play. Waves up 1. They're going nuts at the field house. A few possessions later. Reyes again. Double team comes. Great patience. And another layup. Game high 21 for Reyes. Waves back up 1. Ensuing possession. Brandon Brown with the handle. Circles around the defense. Sweet dime to Peter Herman underneath. 1 of 7 assists for Brown. LMU now on top by 1. Under 10 seconds remaining. Waves down 1. And here we go. Lamont Murray Jr. going to work. Missed the jumper, but guess who's there? Chris Reyes. The huge offensive board, the bucket. What a beast. Pepperdine back on top. One last chance for the Lions. They got the ball at half court with about a second left. Pass goes into Eric Johansson. He gets it off, but it's just short. What a game down the stretch. Pepperdine gets their first win in conference, 71-70. And we are now 3 games into conference play, so let's take a look at the updated standings. The Gales and the Zags remain at the top as the only 2 undefeated teams. 15 wins to start the season for Gonzaga. BYU, Santa Clara, and Portland tied for 3rd with 2 wins. And then at the bottom, both LMU and San Diego still looking for that first conference win. All right, let's have a little fun off the court now. I had the pleasure of sitting down with our players and coaches to test their knowledge and the facts and history of their respective schools. Last week, it was BYU. This week, we have senior forward Brett Bailey and Coach Lamont Smith representing the San Diego Toreros. Let's see how they fare on this week's program Pop Quiz. All right, guys, this is why you came here. It's a program Pop Quiz. You're competing against all the teams in your conference. There's high hopes. University of San Diego, obviously, Brett, you're supposed to carry coach. You're each going to get 5 questions, 10 total. I'll just alternate. Who's your team's all-time leading scorer? I feel like you should know this one.
That's my guy, Johnny Golden Boy D.
Johnny Golden. Coach, it's a tough one. Most points scored in a single game. You can either go
Duda, 38.
It's so close to that. It's not that. You go one. You can either give me the guy or the total. A guy named
Washington.
A guy named Pinky Smith. Robert Pinky Smith had 40. Did he?
Oh man.
According to the media guy, I think we got to check that. Yeah, I don't like that one. True or false? Your coach was USD's Defensive Player of the Year in his sophomore and senior year, so he won the award twice. Is that true or false?
That's got to be true.
You have no other choice but to say that. Of course that's true, man. Who's San Diego's one NCAA tournament win against? It's a big-time pro. Yes, of course. Laughed at me for saying that stuff. What's your mascot's name? You'd be surprised. Someone got it wrong in this.
Mascot name? Oh,
yeah.
Trail Nation.
Yeah. Do you has a name, though? Do you know the...
Diego.
Yeah.
That is right.
I get to help my boy.
Yeah, you gotta help me out on that one.
All right, Coach. This is a tough one, man. Out of the 15 players on your roster, 12 different states or countries are represented based on their listed hometown. Could you name those? Obviously, California, I'm going to give you right off the bat. I mean, it's tough, Coach.
California.
Yeah.
New Jersey. Idaho.
Yeah.
Germany.
Washington is
right.
there. Yes.
That's right.
Connecticut.
You're on fire.
Delaware. Puerto Rico.
Like, I'm actually getting excited right now.
Colorado.
You gotta
a
go
big
through
state.
Through the softball.
Oh,
class.
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
We got one St. Louis.
Missouri.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You got
yeah.
one more.
Oregon?
Oregon.
Oregon.
I got to give it to you guys. Oh, what year did your basketball program start? This is you. You just got to throw it. You got to.
56?
Oh, so close. 55. Coach, how many seats does your gym have? Over or under 5,000?
Over.
Yes, it is. 5,100. Sing the first line of your school's fight song.
Fight, Toreros, fight. Show them we have clout.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care, man. You're only the second school to get it right, man. People don't know. So
That's a true alumni right
that
there.
is, by the way. So here's the deal. As a senior, the lone senior, it is your job to go back. Whether it's a hazing thing or whatever you want to do, make the freshmen learn it. It'll then be passed on. It's kind of the advice you get. Coach, it's a way to step
That's
up.
good advice right there. I like that.
You like that,
that.
huh? I guarantee tomorrow someone's singing that. All right, good stuff. That's USD, and they just crushed it right there. Coach Smith just carrying him. When we come back, we got a cool story about a current coach who shares a special relationship with one of the all-time greats. Don't go anywhere. Congratulations to Portland senior guard Alec Wintering for being named WCC Men's Basketball Player of the Week. This honor coming off a week where he averaged over 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 dimes per game while leading his team to a pair of wins to open up conference play. This is Wintering's first Player of the Week honor this season. Now, it can't be easy following in the footsteps of one of the all-time greats. Just ask Pepperdine assistant coach John Impelman. His great-grandfather created the Pyramid of Success, but he'll never expect to be given anything because of that. Here's more on Coach Impelman's paving his own way.
Few kids are lucky enough to grow up with their great-grandparents around, to hear their stories and glean their wisdom. Significantly fewer kids were lucky enough to grow up with John Wooden, the late coaching legend and renowned teacher, as their great-grandfather.
Don't cut any corners, come on.
Pepperdine assistant coach John Impelman is one of those few, but he won't be the first to tell you about it.
He didn't tell anyone, ever.
Really, ever.
He was trying to get admitted into UCLA and initially didn't, and probably could have used that to propel him. And he said, nope, if it wasn't meant to be, I'm not going to use it. And but I'm going to use it as much as I can because it's, again, in college basketball, it's a huge thing.
By the time Impelman reached high school, he knew playing basketball wouldn't be his living.
It was never pushed on me which is probably why I wasn't that great of a player, because it was kind of like, if you want to work out on your own, go ahead, you don't have to.
Slide it, slide it, slide it.
So he decided on the family business, coaching.
At 9, we're sliding it right at 9.
His father, Craig Impelman, is a former D1 assistant of 12 years, including a stop at Pepperdine. And of course, there's his great-grandfather, John's namesake.
I probably should have asked him more, knowing I wanted to be a coach. That probably wasn't my smartest move. But Christmas Day, we would always hang out at my aunt's house, and he would make this Waldorf salad. That was his Christmas dish, and NBA games would always be on. So I would ask him things here and there. It was much more of a great-grandfather, great-grandson relationship, not really basketball-wise.
John Wooden, aside from his 10 national championships at UCLA, is perhaps best known for his maxims, creeds, quotes, and sayings. Even if you're not a sports fan, chances are you know a few, like the Pyramid of Success. That's just one way Impelman takes after his great-grandfather.
Hey, I love how excited you get for your teammates on the bench, man. It's really awesome.
He has just shy of 400 quotes saved on his phone and in his spreadsheet for reference.
Things work out best for those who make the best out of the way things work out is one that's always stuck in my mind.
Let's go, let's go!
I keep them in mind on a daily basis, and I am a big quote person, so I'll use them with our guys. Some of them will be his, and some of them will just be other coaches.
But Impelman is not set on being the next John Wooden. It would be a disservice to his legacy, really.
I catch myself telling myself that the best way you can honor him is be yourself, you know, and it come across coaches that, well, you should do things this way because that's the way they were done, and he never did that. He always adapted, and when he had Kareem, his offense was different than when he had Gil Goodrich and Walt Hazzard, and so the traditionalists look at things in terms of, well, this is the way John wouldn't do it, you should do it that way, and that's not what he would have thought. So I think that in not being like him, I'm kind of emulating him in some way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're carrying on his legacy by being yourself.
I think so.
Shot, Kenny, I see you.
For the WCC This Week, I'm Sarah Cazell.
The young wizard right there. That's a cool story. Now let's take a look at our Saturday slate of games for the conference. Coming up right after this, our game of the week, Toreros in Malibu taking on the Waves. Santa Clara also down here in SoCal matching up with LMU, Pacific and BYU. Pilots hosting the Zags, and the late game will be St. Mary's going across the bridge to take on San Francisco. All right, that'll do it from here in the studio. After the break, we are heading back to Malibu inside Firestone Fieldhouse where Barry Tompkins and Casey Jacobson will have the call. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Welcome you back to the West Coast Conference this week. It's presented by Geico. Our game of the week, San Diego and Pepperdine. We're on the beach here in Malibu. Not exactly beach weather, though. Barry Tompkins, Casey Jacobson alongside. Pepperdine got off the schneid the other night. 9 games they lost in a row. Hadn't had a win since back in November, but sometimes good things happen when you kind of turn things around one night.
And when you come back home, Barry, of those 9 losses, 6 in a row had been on the road. They come back to Firestone Fieldhouse. They get a 1-point victory over their rival down the road in LMU. So they're right now, this will be the second game of a 4-game homestand. They're hoping that Firestone Fieldhouse will help get them right.
And they did make a point guard change in that last game. We'll talk more about that. Point guards, though, really the subject of the X factors in this game.
Yeah, the point guard matchup is going to be key. For San Diego, we have to start with Olin Carter III, a 6'2 sophomore from Texas, and he's improved his scoring by 10 points from his freshman year. But I believe the Toreros need him to continue to develop in other areas like leadership and playmaking ability that all really good point guards possess. And then on the flip side, for Pepperdine, I'm looking at Jeremy Major, 5'11 senior from Pasadena, California, who is on pace, if he stays healthy and productive, Barry, to become Pepperdine's all-time leader in assists. He plays both ends of the court. He's also the emotional leader for this Waves team that has a ton of new faces.
And Marty Wilson was telling us before the game, he said, I like him playing off the ball. It gives him more chances. He doesn't have to think about as much as he has to when he's playing the one.
Yeah, so he's inserted Elijah Lee, a freshman, into the starting lineup to allow Jeremy Major to be more comfortable and focus a little bit more on scoring. The problem is a freshman point guard can be up and down, as you know. In college basketball, it's tough for freshmen, but once Elijah starts picking up the offense, this Wave team is only going to get better.
Both these teams, I think, as we said earlier, kind of on an uptick. Here is the schedule for today, our game here, and then it's Santa Clara at LMU. Santa Clara playing very well right now. Pacific will be at BYU. That is a tall order, both figuratively and literally. Gonzaga will be at Portland. St. Mary's will play at USF. USF's been kind of up and down. St. Mary's coming off a big emotional win at home against BYU. That's the schedule in the West Coast Conference today. Our game of the week coming up on the other side of this commercial break. San Diego visiting Pepperdine. It's the West Coast Conference this week, and we're coming back.